like most of you, you leave your chiropractor feeling great, but days between your adjustments put stress on your body and your back. Today, Christine will be joining Dr. Bobbie Bennett of BodyWise Chiropractic to learn some techniques to keep your adjustments. Christine?
Hello, we're here today with Dr. Bobbie from BodyWise Chiropractic in Tempe, Arizona. Hello.
Hello.
Like most of us, we go to our chiropractic appointment, we feel great, but then we go home. So what we want to know today is what can we do at home to keep that balance, to keep feeling that great until our next appointment? And the rumor has it, you've got some fun exercises for us today.
Absolutely. This is a great question and something that I hear quite often in the office. Patients will say they feel great when they get done with an appointment, but they want to maintain that and keep feeling great until their next visit. So we've got a few things that we're going to go over today. It's called self-myofascial release. And we're going to have a few tools that we're going to use that you probably have lying around the house, a couple of them. We're going to utilize these to help work on prevention and help to keep you feeling good in between visits.
Great.
So the first thing we're going to go over is foam rolling. And this is a foam roll. This is a lower density foam roll. It's in white in color. Okay. There are varying densities that you can buy. White, you may find some marbled ones, and then the highest density is going to be a black. Okay. So we're going to start with the white one. This is a great one to begin with. And what we're going to do is actually do just as it sounds. We're going to roll on top of the foam roller, and we're going to help release some of the tension in some of the larger muscle groups of the body.
Okay.
So how we're going to start is have you actually go down onto the ground and have a seat right on that foam roller.
Okay.
The first muscle we're going to work on, or the area that we're going to work on, is called your IT band. And this is an area, it stretches from your knee all the way up to your hip. Okay. Can cause anything from knee discomfort, hip discomfort, sometimes lower back discomfort, and something that's actually pretty common and commonly seen in my office. So the way we're going to work this is we'll have you straighten that right leg out. You're going to cross the left leg over the top of the right one. And this is going to be your balance, that left leg. Okay. And then you want to kind of rotate around so that you're on that right side. And use your hands to support you in addition to that left leg as you roll from the top of that pelvis all the way down to the knee. Now the key is to only put as much body weight on that as is comfortable for you. Everyone's going to have a different pain tolerance, and when you start out, you want to make sure that you use a little bit lighter pressure until you can kind of get how it's going to feel.
And you relieve that pressure using your arm?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep, you're supporting yourself with your arms and that other leg. As it gets easier, then you can actually put more weight onto that leg that you're rolling on.
Okay, yeah, you can definitely feel this.
And when you hit a spot like that that's really tense, what you want to do is actually hold pressure on it and just let your body weight, you work kind of like you would work a trigger point, right? And you're going to hold pressure on that spot. Use some deep breathing. Hold it for 10, even 20 seconds if you've got a little bit of time to work on this. What that's going to do is just to help release that tension in the area. You may find a couple of those spots as you go through some of these larger muscle groups.
Okay. Great.
Another area that is commonly pretty tight and can be worked with the foam roller are the glutes and that hip area. So a lot of times people who drive a lot get some tension in their hips, right? And so this is a great one to help with that. So what you're going to do is keep that right leg a little bit bent like you have it.
Okay.
Cross that left leg over the top. Perfect. Kind of like a figure 4 type position. And you're going to roll onto that right glute. And again, we're going to support ourselves with that hand and hold as much pressure as you feel comfortable and roll onto those glute muscles. Now this one, you might actually feel some discomfort down the leg if you hit some tense areas. Mm-hmm. If you've had sciatica in the past, you know what that feels like. This is a great way to work out some of those muscles that cause some of that tension in the hip area and can lead to some of those sciatica symptoms.
Yeah, and once you get good at it, you could do it while you watch TV.
Absolutely. The foam roller is a great tool, very versatile, and you can take it a lot of different places.
Nice.
Now, as you're working on that foam roller, if you hit a spot in those glutes that feels like you maybe want a little bit more pressure, you can actually take a tennis ball. It's our second tool here that we can grab at home. And you're going to sit on that spot. And same idea, you're going to find that tense spot and use as much of the body weight as you feel comfortable and hold pressure on it. Now the tennis ball has got a smaller surface area, so it's going to be more direct. So you have to probably watch how much weight you put on it at the beginning. It's going to be a little bit sore. And of course, you only want to do it to, your pain tolerance.
Right, yeah. This is a lot more intense than the foam roller, but it feels good.
It's a great way to get those specific areas. And you can also use that tennis ball, if you go up against a wall, you can press it between yourself and a wall and work on some of the areas in between those shoulder blades, some of those spots that get tense as you're sitting at a computer or maybe standing all day.
Nice.
Yeah. So next we're going to actually utilize a couple of other things. First, the rolling pin.
Okay.
And this one I'm going to actually have you have a seat here on the chair.
Okay.
Perfect. And what we're going to work with the rolling pin is your calf muscles. So if you take that and hold on to the handles, the rolling pin works great. There are other tools that you can buy that are specifically for using for this the tight muscles, but we're going to utilize the rolling pin today because it's something a lot of people have at their house. So go ahead and just put it behind the leg.
Okay.
And we're going to go through the entire length of that calf muscle. You can get down into that Achilles tendon. Sometimes that gets tight. A lot of foot tightness actually comes from the calves. So this is a great area to work. And especially, you know, if you wear shoes that maybe aren't very comfortable or you're wearing heels all day, it's a great way to release some of that tension.
Yeah, the insides right here. I wear a lot of heels and this feels very nice.
And you can also take that rolling pin and use it on other muscles. You can, you know, go on the fronts of your legs. If you maybe went on a bike ride and you're a little bit sore, this is a great way to work on some of that tension as well.
And
Good.
you don't need anybody.
Exactly.
Just yourself.
Exactly. Self-myofascial release. Now the next thing we're going to use is a golf ball, and I'm going to have you take your shoe off for me.
Okay.
And this is a great tool to use, you know, whether you're sitting at your desk at work, you're sitting at home watching television. You can take a golf ball and you can use it in a couple of different ways. Number one, if you've got some arm tension, maybe you use a mouse at work and you get tight in that arm, you can actually take that and roll it up and down the arm from the elbow all the way down to the wrist. You can go on the inside of the arm. This is a way to kind of just get the blood flow and get things moving in those muscles there.
Okay.
Good. And then you can also take that and go down to your foot, and we're going to roll it up and down the foot. There's an area called your plantar fascia that covers the entire bottom part of your foot. Plantar fasciitis is a common thing seen in my office. This is a great way to work on some of that tension in between visits. Now this may cause a little bit of soreness and discomfort, and you can actually take a water bottle, fill it about 3/4 of the way full, throw it in the freezer, and this is something that you can use either to roll on the way that you're rolling on the golf ball, or use the golf ball first and then use the ice to then cool down the area that you've just worked on so that you don't have as much soreness afterwards.
Okay. Oh yeah, the coolness feels very good.
And this is great if you've had a long day at work, your feet are a little bit sore. Again, just go home, roll on top of that ice. It's going to feel a whole lot better the next day.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Bobbie. This has been some great information.
Absolutely. So we've got, to recap, we've got, you know, our foam roller here, varying densities. We've got golf ball, we've got a tennis ball, we've got a rolling pin, and then a frozen water bottle. So some things that you've got probably lying around the house that you can use to help yourself out.
Now, the one thing I won't have lying around my house is this. So you had talked about the different densities. Now, I'm a beginner. Personally, this was, you know, a little intense for me. Should all beginners start with the white one? You know, what does it depend on? How do I know what to go out and buy?
All beginners should definitely start with one of the white or the lower density foam rollers. This is probably enough tension for you to begin with, and it helps you get the technique down. It's not going to be quite as uncomfortable, and if you've got a lower pain tolerance, this is always a good idea. As you get a little bit better, you can actually graduate to some of the higher density foam rollers. The black ones are generally the highest density and are reserved for those who have maybe been foam rolling for a while or have a higher pain tolerance. So, you know, any of these tools, you know, can be found, or any of these foam rollers can be found, you know, sporting goods stores, things like that. And they're a great asset on top of your stretching routine. Your chiropractor has probably shown you different ways to be able to stretch out your neck, your upper back, your lower back, all those areas. And if you have any questions about any of these techniques, I'm sure that your chiropractor can definitely answer those for you.
Right. Well, speaking of questions, if you have any questions for Dr. Bobbie, you can reach her at bodywisechiro.net. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.